I'm going to teach you very useful functionality in Excel called Power Pivot. You might have heard the term called pivot table. Now I'm going to talk about one prefix called Power Pivot Table. And this will be very, very useful for two reasons. Reason number one is that we can add the KPI, key process indicator. And we, for example, this is the volume sum of sales I have, which I can denote by different colors, right? So we can see that, the month of June and March, we had a good sale. And of course, in December and so on and so forth, right? So, and not only that, we can do it by any categorical distinction. For example, could be month, could be people, could be anything, right? So we can add that one. Another one is that we can add the data label. And for example, in Excel, in the pivot table, generally speaking, we can add only few arithmetic functions, but now we can add more and more. That's what is called power pivot. Number two. And one more other reason is that it also creates a data model which allows you, for example, I have various tabs in this very Excel, right? So all wherever the table is there, for example, I have table 9 and the various tables is coming up here, right? Table 1 and all that is coming up here, right? So how to create it? Before that, we need to add the add-ins. How to add this add-in called Power Pivot? It will not be available, and all you need to do is that you need to enable it through the window. So what I'm doing it, I'm just giving Control N. That means I'm creating a new Excel, and let me close this file. Okay. Now all you have to do is that you have to go to File and go to Option. In the options, you will find add-ins. In the add-ins, you can find it, for example, now I can find it here in the active application, but you will find it in inactive application, right? So in inactive application, one time you need to enable this one. Once you enable, all these will flip to this side from inactive to active one. And now I'm going to teach you how to add this up, right? So even I was trying to add this and then using the Excel add-ins and did not get added. Then I realized that, okay, so this has got a type. In the type, it has given the command add-ins. Only then it will get added, right? So you come back to this drop down, and in the drop down, you will find something called command add-ins. And then you will be able to do that, right? So all you have to do is that you go, and then it has four set like Inquire, Microsoft Power Map for Excel, Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel, Microsoft Power View for Excel. So I need all of them, just have them. And once you do, so it will come here. For example, how the Analyze tool pack, it will come under data. Like this, there is a separate window for Power Pivot, Inquire, and in Inquire also you can do. For example, workbook analysis, comparison, and all that you can. And workbook passwords, help, and all that you can definitely get this up. So let's go back to our topic called Power Pivot. In Power Pivot, we are going to create a data model and functions. And as I said that we can additionally invoke the functions, and we can create that KPIs, key process indicator, and then add to data tables, and we can update every time. We don't need to come back and do it every time. So we can also manage this also. So it has given that go to Power Pivot window to load and prepare the data or continue working on the data. You want to append everything, you can do that also as well. So you can also establish the connection also as well. Let's say any connection if you want to do, you want to detect that one. Now I don't have any data set, so it doesn't come. So you can also do the relationship. So you have a data model, calculation table, relationship, and the settings also as well. In the settings also, you can do that. Okay, so let's start with a very simple example. I'm going to take some of the categorical data. So month is, for example, employee name is the categorical data. So I will call it as employee one, and let me pick 12 employees. So what I will do, I will just take 12 employees. And then another categorical data is called month, right? So Jan, and I'm just giving it here till December. So, and then here I'm picking up. So here I'm just giving it like 2023 as an example. And then sales, how much sales it has happened made by that particular employee and that particular month, right? So sales, maybe sales, right? So sales, I'm just giving it here. And in the sales, what I will do it is that I will just repeat the same thing. I will give like random between. I'm just creating that some random data. I'll say it is between 1000 and to 3000, right? So it has given that, and then I'm simply dragging it here. So almost all similar model, I'm going to use this one. So 1000 to 3000, it will each time it will get added. So the same thing, let's say I'm just creating the same data set for another year, maybe 2024. So 2024 also I have done that. Okay. So similarly, the same concept I'm going to do. So once I have done this, so I will keep it as a value. Okay, yeah. Okay. So once it's been done, so I will keep that as a value so that dynamically it doesn't move all the time. Right? So that. So and then I'm creating this as a table. All right. To create the table, or you can create the pivot that will in turn denote as a table. So what I'm doing it is that I'm just giving Control T and just converting into table. So why I'm just taking as a table so that so in future if I need anything like view and all that, for example, if I need the slicers, right? Example slicers and all that, I can really easily pick it up those slicers, right? For example, this slicers I can easily pick that up, right? For example, here or the employee name or anything like that. If I want, I can just come back to this discussion later, but I'm just giving an idea that so the purpose of the slicer, right? So if I want like this, I can give all that. Okay, this is done. So now, so now you have a data. One of the easiest way to do all the arithmetic everything is that you have to use a pivot table, right? So what I'm doing it, going insert pivot table. And then in the pivot table, I have to just keeping it here. This is normal, just keeping it here, or I can just get it from external also. So this is what very important part, right? Choose whether you want to analyze multiple tables. So I have this is one table, right? Let's say I have another table here, or in the other sheet I have a table, or in other Excel I have a table. So yeah, I can do that, right? So I can just add this to the data table. Right? This also it will get added to the data table. Since I have so many data tables, so I'm not going to add this one. Otherwise, it will be little confusing which sales I have and which group I have. So currently, I'm just keeping like this. Okay. Now let's go by simple thing called employee name example. So this whole employee we have, and then you have that something called come to this one and then have that measures, right? So in the measures, oh, sorry, I have not given that table. Let me quickly do that. Sorry, I have to enable it. Anyway, I have to enable it. When I'm going to use the Power Pivot, data modeling should be enabled. So I'm just enabling it. Sorry, yeah. So this is done, and I'm gonna keep that only table one. This has been since I have not given any name, so it has taken as a table one. And I'm going to take employee name here. Okay, so employee name has been taken. Now with that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do a couple of measures here. Okay, table one, the same table I have given, so you can always correlate. Let's say you have so much name, so you can always have the same thing. Don't change this one, otherwise you may get confused actually, or it will ask to create the relationship. What is this table and what is this measure? I'm going to call it as measure. Instead of one, I'm going to call it as sum, and then I'm going to do the sum formula. So sum, I'm just keeping it here, sum of sales. And in the sum of sales, I can just keep it. Okay, you can also do that the other things also, sum of average everything, so whatever. So now always it is good idea to check the formula, right? No error is there. So I'll go whole number, I will separate that 1000 by separator. This is done. Now what I have done is that I have created the measure as such. Measure has been created, right? So for example, employee one, if you take it, employee one. So employee one, it is giving this value, right? So 4812, right? The same thing you can find it here also, 4812. The similarly you can find that. Okay, so this has been done, but this is whether the employee has done like this is employee, right? Employee price. Whether this is been according to the target, right? For example, let me create, now it is interesting, measure I have done, very good. And now with that measure, what I'm going to do, I'm going to, these two are connected, right? So I'm going to create a new KPI. In the new KPI, measure sum. So the same it has come. And then this is no target. I don't have any target. So I'm going to give that as a field value. So absolute number. And let's say I have 4,000, right? 4,000 as a minimum target, right? That means each month an employee, since it's a 2 month, each month the employee have to complete 2,000. So example, and so maybe what I will do, anything, anything 3,200, I will call it as red, right? Anything, anything, we must select according to the sending order. Okay, okay. So you can collect like 4,500 as an example. Okay, so I have this one, but this can be changed based on your requirement. You can very well change it, but I'm just going with this one. Anything below 3,200, I'll call it as an outlier, or this one is the target, and this is anything beyond that, it is very good. So you can also have like this also as well, like 4,000 is a target, and so on. And so this you can also select the icon also. You can have a description also, KPI description, and you can give it a target description, KPI and all that. KPI description here, I'm just giving it like this is some value, status, and all that. If you want, you can give. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to pick up that one. Like, so if anything which is below than 3,200 is going to give red. And then you have another color, yellow, and then amber or green. You get it. So now I have just done it. It will take few seconds because it has to apply that model. It will take few seconds. Okay, this is updated, right? So you see that this measure has been there as this value, but no, and also you see this side measure also has been updated. All you do is that you just drag one more time this one. So you have this. So now we don't need this measure, that one. You see that the employee 12 is an outlier, and you can just see that the employee 6 and who is doing good, employee 2 is doing good, employee 1 is doing good, and all that we can easily do that, right? And the best part is that now this is, you can, I'm going back to the previous topic. Let's say now take an example of employee 2. Employee 2, sorry, employee 1, I'm taking it as an example. Employee 1 is great now, right? So let's say I'm just taking it for 2023, right? So it is, or you can just select that this value, employee 1, I'm taking it, since it is a pivot table, and filter is also there actually. So along with the filter also there. So you can easily see the compare and do that. You can add any other things. For example, let's say you wanted to add any average also. You can add it. This is some value. So in 2 year, and in that particular one we can add it, right? So sum of this one, the same thing, let's say you want to do it by month, example, right? And simply what you can do, and what I will do, I will just delete that. Don't need to create any just for an example, I just taken this one. Okay, so this one I'm going to replace, sorry, I'm going to show and replace with month example, right? So now we can also see by an employee, by in this thing. And if you wanted to add any other filter, always you wanted to have filter on, you can do that filter on also as well. For example, let's say here I wanted to keep it here, and I can get that also as well. Expand and 23. So you get that 21, and all that you can get it, because now we have given the rule for 2 years. So basically everything will look right, right? So like this, you can very well do that actually. So like this, you can add one more, one maybe average, maybe you can add so with respect to product model and any of the categorical value. It could be month, it could be year, it could be employee, it could be product, it could be whether the product is by location. You can do all that. You will be able to do it very easy. So since I have already enabled that, the location also you can put it, for example, different location if you wanted to have, using that one you can really do that. So anytime if you want to update, it will update, right? So I mean, since it is already a table, so any value you keep adding it, it will get updated. For example, suddenly I'm just changing this value into just only 100 just to denote that, right? So now that you notice this, this will get updated. How? You have to come back and refresh, right? So this is getting updated. Employee one, now it is red, right? And then otherwise you can give update all, also you can give that, right? So and then you can also do that, remove these measures, or you can also add that additional one, and you can refresh, you can do that formatting. All that is very possible. I hope you find this one very useful. And similarly, so since we are talking about the year, you can also add, that this one also as well. For example, timeline also you can add it, right? So selecting this, and then you can create that data connection, and then you can start opening that data connection, and then you can do that also as well. Okay, I hope you find it very useful. Please do like, share, subscribe channel. You have a wonderful day.